I am live. It says so right here. That's what it says. Let's go to live chat. I'm on live chat. Hello, everybody. Hey, we got 3 people watching already. All right. And 4 thumbs ups, at least. So that's pretty cool. I think I'm live. Am I on? Is this thing working? Hello? Hello? Is this thing working? Um, it looks like it's just I don't know if it's my. Oh, I guess it's working. It looked like it wasn't working for a minute there. But I believe it's working now. So, hey, Bill Deacon, loud and clear. Hey, Bill, thanks for being here. Welcome to this Tuesday. What is this, the 12th? Yep, December 12th already. We're already almost halfway through the month, and we're already just, 13 days away from Christmas already? Man, time flies. Doesn't time fly? Oh, yeah, I forgot. I need to switch out my glasses. This is the part of the show where I switch out my glasses. I do this every time, it seems like. Um, you'd think I would have done this beforehand. But anyhow, that's better. It's a little bit better. So how you all doing here on this terrific Tuesday? We just... Bill Diggins says the whole year flew by. That's the truth, isn't that the truth? Here we are in December. For my year, it's been a really transitional year, I guess. This time last year, I was driving my truck, 18-wheeler, out on the road. And let's see, where was I? I'm not sure exactly where I was. I guess I got home for Christmas. Okay. And then we had the New Year's. What was I? I think I was probably on the road on New Year's. I don't think I stayed around for New Year's with the kids and stuff. I think I had to get back on the road. I was somewhere on the road for New Year's Eve. And then at some point, let's see, it probably wasn't until February, I guess, where I had to take the truck in for an inspection. The truck failed because they found leaks in the rear main seal. And that's a big no-no, I guess. Well, I know. And then I took the truck into some shops. I was getting work done on it. I remember I spent, I think I spent a couple grand on it. And then they kept finding more and more stuff. And it wasn't going to pass inspection. And it was looking like it was going to need 20 or 30 grand more of work just to get it to pass inspection, you know? So then I was like, you know what? Let me take it out of the shop. I don't want to put any more money into this thing, into this money pit. I mean, the truck served me well. I got 8 years out of it. I bought it brand new. I put 156,000 miles on it. I tried to maintain it as well as I could. You know, I was always on my, on my preventative maintenance, but I guess it didn't prevent all those leaks and stuff. Anyhow, so then I decided, well, maybe I'll try out Uber. I'd always thought about doing that ever since Uber came out. I was always interested. I was intrigued by the idea that you would just, it's on an app and you could just log in when you want and log out when you want, and it was really flexible. It seemed like a cool thing. So I went ahead and applied for it, and they do took a couple weeks for them to do like the background checks. They do, they do, I guess, a criminal background check. They do a vehicle background check, vehicle record, and then they just do your basic sort of references and your work history and all that kind of stuff. And then and then it came back that it was all approved and everything. And so I started driving for Uber at the. I think that was the very last couple days of February, like February 25th or something. And I've been doing it pretty much. Well, yeah, I've been doing it ever since. So that was my year. It's just like parking the truck and then getting into Uber. Let's see here. Bill says I was just watching a channel called Bald and Bankrupt. He travels the world. Anyway, he decided to go to the Darien Gap, where I don't know where that is. I highly suggest watching brave folks wanting freedom if they survive. Very dramatic. Stephanie B2. Hey, Stephanie. Thanks for being here. Says, hello, everyone. Waiting to be called at the doctor's office. Okay, well, I hope everything goes well over there. We got a couple, hey. If you notice, I still have this stupid cough. I've been sick since fucking Thanksgiving Day. And for about the first 2 weeks, I was really sick. I mean, I hardly left the house. I hardly did anything. And then this last week, I felt well enough. I've been working because I didn't work for like a couple weeks, and I just didn't feel up to it, and I didn't feel right being that sick and being in a car with people. And plus, I just wasn't able to drive. I mean, I was sick, and all I really wanted to do was just lay down and sleep or whatever, and cough every time I was awake. So now. I've been, like I said, I've been driving, but last night I didn't go out driving last night because I just didn't feel up to it. Even though it's been like almost 3 weeks or whatever, right? And I still have this stupid cough. It's kind of a dry cough, pretty much. I'm not really hacking up anything, but it's that, how you have that, that kind of wispy kind of feeling in your chest and up in your throat, and it kind of makes you cough, right? It's that itchy, scratchy, wispy thing. I hate it. I fucking hate it. And so I still have that, and I think the coughing kind of like wears you out or something. Because yesterday I was just laying around and I was just kind of napping and watching TV and watching YouTube and all that stuff. And then I was just like, I'm not going to go driving tonight. I just don't feel like it. So I just stayed home. And hopefully this damn thing will go away. I want to be healthy for Christmas, Bill Deacon says, Trucker John, Darien Gap is a cartel-owned jungle in South America. A dangerous jungle used for drug and human smuggling. Yeah, I think I would stay away from that area. I'm not Jack Ryan, Julie says, take some Mucinex, will loosen it up, makes a more productive cough. I don't want a productive cough. I just want it to go away. Just want it to stop. But yeah, I think I would stay away from the cartel-owned jungle. I don't really see the point. It's a good way to wake up dead. But so anyhow, that's it for me. I've just been, I mean, I feel pretty good. It's just this lingering cough. Jolie says, I've watched some Bald Bankrupt in the past. It seems like kind of an asshole. Like he seems like kind of an asshole. I haven't watched the show, but I don't know why you would want to go into a cartel-owned jungle unless you were Jack Ryan. I keep referencing Jack Ryan because I just uh, since I've been home a lot and driving, I kind of binge watched all 4 seasons of Jack Ryan. I just finished that up. I guess it was yesterday. I finished because they had the series finale. Uh, it ended after 4 seasons, so I finished watching that. And it's pretty, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's just fictional stuff, but Jack Ryan, and he goes into these cartel places and takes care of the bad guys. But and then I started watching Lawmen. I think there's a colon in there. Lawmen. Bass Reeves. So I'm assuming that they're going to do maybe a series of different lawmen, because otherwise it would be Lawman Bass Reeves, which is what I thought it was. I kind of like just breezed over the title. I thought it was Lawman Bass Reeves, and then I kept seeing where it said this is Lawman, and I'm like, why does it say Lawman? Shouldn't it be Lawman? So apparently, I mean, I'm just guessing. I haven't read anything on it or on the series and what they're doing. If they're going to do future seasons or different lawmen, but it sounds like if they're saying lawman colon, Bass Reeves, then it sounds like maybe next year it'll be Wyatt Earp or maybe Bat Masterson or all these famous lawmen, I guess, over the Old West days. But I don't know. But yeah, so I watched the first, I think, 4 episodes of season 1 of that. It's a pretty good show. It's pretty good. I like it. It's that Taylor Sheridan, he's like the executive producer, and this guy is like on fire. Like Taylor Sheridan is like the new, I don't know, what's her face? Someone that did Orange is the New Black. Like it seemed like when that show hit, then she had a whole bunch of shows, And then Taylor Sheridan, he's been doing ever since, he's done those movies. What was the one about the oil field, or about the oil? That was a good movie, and he's done some big movies, and then of course I think he does Yellowstone and all that stuff. So the guy is just like, I guess, on fire with putting out shows, and they're pretty good. I don't really. I think I watched the first episode of Yellowstone way back, and I was driving a lot then, so I just didn't really follow up on watching it. And then it got to where now they're like, I don't know, several seasons in. They've got spinoffs like 1882 or whatever it's called, and I just haven't gotten into it. But I do like this Bass Reeves show. It's really, really good. So if you're looking for something to watch and you like Westerns, which I do, I love Westerns, then you might want to watch it. Before Jack Ryan, before Bass Reeves and before Jack Ryan, during this sickness, I binged watched on, I guess it's MGM Plus, because I have that on my TV. They have this Billy the Kid series, and they've got one full season, and then season 2, they've got. I haven't checked back to see if they put out the next episodes, but I think they did the first 4 episodes, and I think there's going to be like 4 more coming. And that's a really good show. Now, granted, I think they take a lot of liberties with the truth, but still, with something like that, you just got to throw it out and just enjoy the show, And I think it's very well done. It's a good Western, and it makes you really like Billy the Kid, It wouldn't, in real life, he was probably an asshole, but in this show, they make him like a real hero. But so what? So be it. Maybe he was. I don't know. Bill Deacon says, Jolie, says, he's arrogant for sure. I just like his travel to odd places. And then Jolie, and speaking to Bill Deacon again, having a little convo, I like watching stuff like that too, more than just travel videos where they talk to locals, which gives a bigger picture of the place. All right, Elaine. I don't watch those, as you can tell. I watch westerns, and Jack Ryan, which is kind of like a modern day western. He's like he's like John Wayne going in there, uh, but has fully automatic weapons. But yeah, maybe I'll check out this guy, Bald and Broke, or Bankrupt. Bald and Bankrupt. I think Bald and Broke might be would have been sound better. Bill Deacon says Jolie the same, which is why I started Bald. I just learned to look past his arrogance and focus more on the content. Well, here, here. Here, here, everybody. I'm trying to figure out why I cannot see my... I mean, usually, well, I don't know what I got to do to get me on the TV screen. I don't know why. It is new why. Okay. I guess because I don't see me. What about my videos? Oh, there it is. Oh, look at there. So I can put me up on the big screen on TV. All right. Just for shits and giggles, I guess. Alrighty, so let's see. So what else is going on? So yeah, we talk about the year and how I started driving for Uber around the last week of February. It started off with a Ford Escape. It was a nice little car, but I had to do the first couple weeks with that car because before you can get an EV, you have to have so many trips under your belt, and you have to have it. You have to establish like your rating and all that kind of stuff, and then you have to make an appointment to get there, to go in there and do it. So I think it took me 2 weeks. I got the appointment, and I had all this. I met all the criteria to get the EV. So then I got into a Tesla, and that first one I got was a beautiful little blue one. I remember it. It was like brand new. I think it had 1,400 miles on it, or something like that. And then I drove that one for not very long, maybe less than a month. And then for some reason, I wanted to try out that Polestar. They had a Polestar 2. And I just wanted to try it out. So I had to turn back, the Tesla in. I traded it for the Polestar 2. I had the Polestar for about a week, I think, and I hated it. I hated every minute of it. I just, compared to the Tesla, it just totally sucked. I guess the Tesla has spoiled me. And there was just so many things wrong with it. I mean, it would take a lot longer to charge. It was a lot more expensive to charge. And it was an uncomfortable car to sit in. So I hated it. So I was able to go back and change it out for another Tesla. And that's when I got the black one. And the black one was really nice. Yeah, I really liked the black one. And I had that one for, I don't know, I forget how long, a couple months, 2 or 3 months. And then for some reason, I got the gray one. Oh, I think, the black one got a cracked windshield. That's what it was. And so I took it in, and they were just like, well, we'll just go ahead and swap you out. into another Tesla, and so so you don't have to wait or whatever. And so then that's when I got the gray one, and I really like the gray one. Out of all the ones I've had, I think the gray one was my favorite, and that was a really nice car. And then what happened with that? When I changed over, why did I go to the white one? Because now I have the white one. See, I was over there. I forget what happened. Why I changed, or maybe it was just because I wanted to change offices. Because the other office I had been going to, because I moved. I was at that Manor Suites, which is on like South Las Vegas, and the office, the Hertz office that I had been doing everything with, was way out like in Centennial Hills. It's like northwest part of Vegas, and it's a real hassle. And if you have to do anything over there, if anything happens, you have to go to that office. I'm not sure if that's why I changed though. I don't remember. I don't remember what the deal was of why I changed. Oh no, okay, that's right. Because I bought that car. I bought the Prius. Oh yeah, that's right. So I thought I would, because these rentals are like $400 a week, and I thought, well, maybe I should just buy a car instead of having a basically. Actually, with all the tax and license, it was coming to like almost what, close to $1,900 a month, And I thought, well, maybe I should just buy a car, and then I'll have one with as low monthly payment as possible. And so I bought that Prius. It was a 2021. It was really nice. Made the deal, signed the contracts, drove it off the lot. I had to buy insurance for it, which I still have never gotten a refund for that. And I had it for about 10 days. And then they were calling up saying, you got to return the car. You got to return the car because the finance company, they're not going to honor the contract. They don't. They say that the Uber income is not good for them or whatever. I don't know, some bullshit. Even though I gave them 3 months of income, and it all said Uber on there. It wasn't like they didn't know from the time that I drove it off the lot that it was Uber income. Anyhow, I had to take the car back. And even though at first when I drove the car, I remember driving the car home and thinking, oh God, this car is such a dog. Because I was so spoiled from the Tesla. But then as I was driving it, I actually took it on a trip down to see my kids. I guess it was around Easter time. I think, is that when I went in spring? And then, and I was doing Uber with it. And I actually was getting more and more used to it and accustomed to it. I actually really liked it. So then by the time I had to take it back, I was sad because I had to take it back. First I was sad because I was getting out of the Tesla and driving this car that is really no comparison, as far as performance and all that kind of stuff. And then by the time I took it back, and then I was sad because now I had to give back this car that I was really getting accustomed to. But the thing about that also is that with the EV, you make more money because it's considered a luxury car. So you get these luxury rates, so you get the premium rates. And also for every ride, you get an extra $1 because you're driving an EV. All this stuff. So it comes out to where, like I've said before, my average hourly rate, I guess, or pay when I was in the Tesla is usually about $35 an hour. Never goes under 30. It's always over 30, and it's usually around $35 an hour. For the week and a half that I was doing the Prius, with that, it's just basically Uber X. There's no premium, there's no comfort, there's nothing like that. My average hourly rate went way down. It went down to between $20 and $22 an hour. So that was a big difference. But still, it was a good car. Good gas mileage. It was a Prius. It was a hybrid. Nice little car. Got lots of compliments. People said it was, they were complimenting that almost as much as they compliment the Teslas. So. But anyhow, so that's why now I remember. I went from the gray Tesla because then I got that Prius, and then I had to take the Prius back. So then I needed a car again. So then I went and got the white Tesla, and that's what I've been in ever since. So that was probably a few months ago now, and I've been in the white Tesla, and I like the white Tesla. Um, I mean, it's been probably the best car in terms of. I think the range on that one is amazing. It hardly uses any electricity, and it's the oldest car. It's a 2022. All the other ones I think were 2023s. This one's actually the oldest car, has the most mileage on it, and I think it's getting the best range. So people are talking about. They always ask me, and I hear it in various chat rooms or whatever. Uh, People are worried about or wonder about how the battery life goes down, how it degrades. And I got to say, so far for this one, it's got 50,000 miles on it. It's a 2022. I don't see any degradation. Is that the word? The term degradation on that. It seems to me it's like it's getting better range than the 2023s that I was driving. So far so good on that. Um, but so now that's been basically my year. I guess is just driving for Uber. Got the Prius. Had to give it back and all that kind of stuff. And then I moved into this apartment, this beautiful apartment, this palatial apartment, uh, and which you can see. I've got a microwave and a pizza box because I had pizza on Sunday. I was watching football games and I ordered a pizza, and that's the box. Um, let's see here. Jolie says the Polestar. You definitely hated that car. I did, and I still do. And I see them all over the place. A lot of people are driving them. Probably a lot of Uber drivers and stuff. And I'm just like, ugh. Every time I see it, I'm like, ugh, Polestar 2. But hey, if people like them, then fine. But I think they're a pain in the ass. And they're expensive to run. That's the great thing about the Teslas. They're really cheap to run. I charge it up uh, every day. It costs me $5 or $6 to charge it up, and I probably don't even really have to do it every day. I could probably do it every other day. Hey, Marie Giangreco. Hello, everybody. She says, and I'm saying hello back at you. Thanks for being here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for me. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you very much. Julie says, I watched an old video of yours last week. It was the first one that you had fixed shaky cam with cardboard coffee cup holders and a pack of shoelaces. We were all excited. Oh, yeah, that was in the truck, when I was in the big truck. And, I improvised that with, jamming that camera between the dashboard and the window mount, basically. And it worked. Worked pretty good. Marie says hi, and Jolie says, hey, Marie. And we're saying hey back and forth. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate you dropping in. We're just shooting the shit. This is sort of turning into a year in review type of show. And we're only on December 12th. I usually, I like to reserve that kind of stuff for the 29th or the 30th or whatever. Right to the end. I take it right to the end before I start doing my year in review. Maybe we will do a year in review show, an actual year in review show around New Year's Eve-ish. Maybe not exactly New Year's Eve because I know everyone wants a party. Party. I don't really party anymore for New Year's Eve. I haven't really done that in a long, long, long time. When I was younger, my younger days, yeah. Oh, yeah, you betcha. You betcha. We'd have come up here to Vegas. It was a big thing to come up to Vegas for New Year's Eve. That was a fun thing. I did that quite a few, not every year, but quite a few New Year's Eves where we would come up here. And it's kind of funny because there was a time when you could come up here without even making a reservation and you could find a room for New Year's Eve, And then we just saw it sort of This is like in the 80s. And by the 90s, probably mid to late 90s, it was like you had to make reservations like a year out, at least for most of these hotels, it seems like. And the prices were jacked way up. And it became like one of those deals where it just was like, it's just too popular now. Because I mean, they pretty much shut down the strip, and everyone's on the strip, and they do a big ball drop thing or whatever they call it, and they try to be like Times Square or whatever. And there's a lot of fireworks and stuff like that. I don't think I'm gonna be working that night. I don't want to deal with the fucking drunks and shit. I mean, maybe I'll do an early out. Maybe early or something. I don't know. And then I think I'm just gonna be. I don't think I'm gonna be like down south with my kids. I think I'll probably be here, and I'll probably be in my apartment. I'm not gonna. I don't want to be out on the street for New Year's Eve, like when it gets around close to midnight. So, like I said, maybe I'll go out early. Maybe I'll do an early afternoon type of thing, just get a feel for what's going on. But I don't think I'm gonna be out, um, around midnight when everyone's getting all crazy and shit. Um, what are you guys gonna do for New Year's Eve? Any plans? What do you guys do? Do you go out and just tie one on, get all fucked up and crazy? Or do you just stay home just with family and just watch TV? I know some years with my kids and stuff, when they were younger, we would just watch like the Dick Clark thing, and then it became Ryan Seacrest and all that kind of shit. And we would just do little things at the house, and then when at midnight we'd run out and bang pots and pans, or if we had any fireworks, we'd throw some fireworks out, um, stuff like that. Things of this nature. Uh, Marie says that she usually stays at home. People are scary. Yeah, I pretty much just stay at home now for the last, I don't know, probably over 20 years. Like I say, when my kids were young, we would just stay home and just have our own bring in the new year with our little family, and we would have sometimes just the sparkling champagne, the sparkling cider, because it's kids. We're not gonna bust out champagne with our kids. So we had the sparkling cider type of deal, um, and that was fun. That was great. I enjoyed that. I did. I was at a stage of my life I didn't need to go out and get all fucked up. That was for when I was in my 20s. Marie says, "Oh, I already said that. I read that. She stays home. Um, I'm gonna stay home and just cough probably. I'll be coughing in the new year. Now, hopefully, my cough will be gone by then. Because we're like 3 weeks away or something. From New Year's already, from 2024. Woo, boy, it's amazing how time flies. I mean, it just seems like not that long ago that was 2016, and we had Trump, right? And then it doesn't. And then just 4 years later, we were able to get Trump out, and we got Joe, and now we're already getting into this next election year. I mean, it flies, man. It flies. Time flies, and we're not even having fun. No, sometimes we're having fun. But anyhow, anywho, um, so before you know it, we're going to be getting into November, and it'll be election time. So make sure well before then you check your registration, make sure you're registered, and you're good to go. And then however you vote, if you're able to vote in person, or if you do absentee or mail-in voting, however you do it, make sure you're registered and good to go, right? I like doing the mail-in voting. I've been doing that actually since the early 2000s. I was able to do that in California, absentee, because I was a truck driver. So was able to just get absentee. They just called it absentee, voting then. And now, I'm pretty sure here in Nevada, because I was doing absentee here when I was driving. This will be the first year that I'm not driving, so I don't know if I can still do mail-in voting here or if I have to go to a polling place. But I think they have early voting and all that kind of stuff, so you can just fill it out and drop it into a ballot box. Bill Diggins says vote blue. Absolutely. I have never, and I say this proudly, I have never, ever, ever voted for a Republican in my life, and I don't plan on ever doing it ever. So I never voted for Republicans. I've always voted for Democrats, with the exception of sometimes I remember in the 90s, I got on this thing in California. I think I voted for, in some of these elections, like some of these districts and things of, like state. It was mainly like state, like the state legislatures and stuff. I think I voted for some Green Party, or I voted, and then I kind of learned more and more about, and even libertarian, maybe a couple of libertarians, and then I started learning more about like the libertarians are really just like Republicans on steroids in some cases. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that again. But other than that, as far as like, especially any federal election, U.S. representative, U.S. Senate, and of course president, I've always voted for Democrats, never Republicans or any other third party or anything like that. And all my other votings, I mean, probably 99% was all Democrats. So I'm a Dem. I'm a Dem through and through, I guess. Always have been. Even before I could vote. I hated Nixon. I thought Jerry Ford was a fucking absolute clown. I really liked Jimmy Carter. And then my first election that I could vote in, my first presidential election, was 1980, and that was Reagan versus Carter. I voted for Carter, proudly. And I remember it was a really sad day because I was working at this basically this copy machine company or store that they sold. Basically, they sold copy machines, and then all the stuff that goes with, like, paper and ink and all that shit. And I delivered to companies. I drove a delivery van, and I was driving but I remember I was in the store on election day. I think I was stocking shelves or something, and they had a TV up in the store, and I remember the election results were starting to come in, and it was just like Reagan, and I remember just being sad, and I remember seeing all these people that worked at the store, because like the owners were there, and then there was customers there, and I remember they were like all giddy and happy, and I remember I didn't say anything. I don't think I said anything, but I remember I just kind of was shaking my head, and I just I was, I guess, maybe visibly unhappy. I didn't really realize I was so visible with these other people, and I didn't think they were watching. But I got fired. I got fired not too long after that election, like within days. And I'm convinced, and they didn't say why. They wouldn't say why I was fired. I was doing a good job. I was making all the deliveries. They wouldn't say why. They just said things aren't working out. And I am convinced to this day it was because I wasn't giddy and jumping up and down in joy when Ronald Reagan won the 1980 presidential election. I'm convinced of it. Because I was visibly upset. Not visibly upset like crying or anything like that, but I mean, I was not happy. Let's just put it that way. And then within a few days, I got fired by the cunt old owner. But anyhow, water under the bridge, right? Uh, Bill says Bill Blue. Oh yeah. Bill Dingus says at Trucker John. Another reason I follow you. Many over the road truck drivers are Trumpers. That they are. They're Trumpers, or they're just right wing wackos, right wing nut jobs. It got to the point where I just had to unplug my CB because it was causing me so much angst. I guess listening to these motherfuckers, they get on the CB, and I mean when Obama was elected in '08, oh my God, you would have thought that I don't know the world was coming to an end for these motherfuckers, and it was like I mean the racist you I mean there was already racist talk on the CB. But I mean, they just came out of the woodwork like you wouldn't believe, and they were just always on the CB constantly calling Obama the N word and and saying that they were going to hang him, they were going to kill him, they were going to shoot him, whatever. And I mean, I was to the point where I was really afraid for Obama. I was like, oh my God, these motherfuckers are going to kill him, and that's all they talked about, about how we got this inward running the country now, and they were just so violent, I mean about the way they would talk about Obama, and I remember I got into a few big arguments on the CB, after a while I'm like, this is stupid because you're on the CB. It doesn't mean it's almost like being a keyboard warrior. I mean, you can just say anything you want, and I'm not going to change their mind. They're not going to change my mind, and all it is doing is just making me angry. So I basically just unplugged the CB, and I didn't turn it on again after 2010, probably. I don't know, maybe a couple times just to see if it would work or see how things are going. But then you would still hear, then you started hearing. Well, this is before MAGA, but you would hear just bullshit, and I was just tired of it. I'm like, I don't need it, so I just unplugged the goddamn CB, which is kind of a unfortunate thing because the CB does come in handy. It can come in really handy, especially if there's a wreck up on the highway and lanes are closed or there's rerouting or whatever. That's what CBs are good for, and what is to find out that kind of shit. But when you get fucking assholes just filling the airwaves, Breaker 19, with their crap, it's just not worth it. It's not worth getting all upset about and getting into these big arguments and stuff. So Jolie says, "Oh wow, yeah, it was bad. I mean, it was amazing, like how uh, flagrant, not fragrant, not fragrant, flagrant they were. Just out. Even though, like I say, it is kind of like being a keyboard warrior because there is some anonymity to it. I mean, you can kind of. I guess there are some people they say they can find someone's location because of the signal strength, and but I don't. I mean, it's not like they can get your. I mean, it'd be pretty hard to like find somebody. So these guys can just say whatever they want with pretty much impunity. But they would just, man, uh, it was just nonstop, just wanting to kill, Obama and hang him, and it was just inward, 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 and it was just, I just didn't want to hear that crap, and that was, that's the good old truckers. Now, granted, anyone can get it on a CB. You don't have to be a trucker, but, I'm sure most of them were, like legitimate truckers or at least former truckers or whatever. And, and occasionally though you would find a or hear a liberal or a Democrat, and they would get on and much more eloquent than me, and they would make some very good points. And then I would try to support that. If I heard someone, I'd be like, "Hey, man, I agree with you, brother. Right on. 100%." So I would, if I ever did hear one, but they were very few and far between. I mean, in all those years I was listening, I mean, there might have been maybe three or four other truck drivers that were, definitely like liberals and Democrats and stuff, and even progressive or whatever. And all the rest of them were either total right wing nut jobs or at least conservative or whatever that means. But yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. So crazy, crazy out there. Oh man, stupid cough. I'm about ready to go and take some more of that. I still have some Nyquil. I got Dayquil and Nyquil. Because it does calm me. I don't know. Probably shouldn't take it. And I do need to go do some shopping. I'm completely out of food, and I'm out of water. I'm out of milk. I'm out of orange juice. All my favorite things. And all I have left, basically, is wild cherry Pepsi. So I think, and I'm thirsty right now. I think I'm going to go get one. I'm going to go crack one open. Because I'm getting kind of thirsty. I'll be right back. I'm just going to walk over here to the old refrigerator. It's funny, I got a 12-pack of Heineken beer in the fridge that I bought, I don't know, it must have been a month ago or something. And then I got sick, so I think I drank one or two, before I got sick. And then now I've been sick, so I have no desire whatsoever to drink any beer. But they'll be waiting there for me, I guess, when I'm well, and I will have one while watching football or something. I do like me a wild cherry Pepsi. Kind of feels good going down the throat there a little bit. All right, so Christmas is almost here. I still haven't got any decorations. I think I'm going to try to plan a trip down to California, down to Lancaster, and get my stuff out of storage. That's probably, I need to do that. And I know I got a ton of Christmas lights and stuff and decorations. That's why I hate to buy anything, because I know I got so much shit in that storage. So probably within the next week or so, I think I'm going to go down there. So I guess I'll have to rent a van. I'll move like a little box van from U-Haul and take it down there, load it up. Maybe I can get my kids to help me. My son said that he couldn't help me do anything until December 15th, which is only 3 days from now. Because that's when his school will be taking their winter break or whatever. And he's been really busy. And I don't want to bug him. He's really busy working on his school. Trying to catch up. Both the kids took like this, once when COVID hit, and they were doing online courses for that semester they were in, and then after that they kind of stopped for a little bit, and they kind of got delayed and everything. But they've been back at it, both of them, and so I'm proud of them. And I don't want to disrupt their schooling. But maybe on the 15th or 16th. Maybe I can enlist their help because I think they'll both be on break by then. And we'll load that van up and I'll bring it up here. I'm pretty sure that this half of the bedroom that's over here is at least as big as the storage I have. It's a kind of a small one. I think it's only 5 by 10 or something. I think it's the smallest one they had. And but I know it's loaded to the gills, and it's really high, because those ceilings are like, 30 feet high or whatever. But it doesn't go that high with my stuff, but probably at least 6 feet high. Like I'm about 6 feet. I bet you it's probably close to 6 feet high of my stuff. So hopefully it'll all fit. I'm just going to cram it in here, and then I'm just going to kind of go through stuff, kind of box by box, and I'll decide if I'm going to keep it, if I'm going to give it to Salvation Army or whatever they call it, or just throw it in the dumpster. I got to go through that shit, and I got to weed it all out. But so that'll be the next big project here at the Trucker John estate. No, I'm living cheap, folks. Living cheap. So that's good, because I need to live cheap for a while. Save up the moolah. Save me up some moolah. Alrighty, so that's been the year in review, and looking at the future. I guess gonna go and try to get some things done if I can get the stupid cough down. Jolie says I should get Mucinex. Maybe I will. I don't know. These things linger, though, man. Like I say, it's been since Thanksgiving that I started getting sick. I mean, I knew I was not able to make a trip. I even canceled Thanksgiving. Jolie says, please get some. All right. When I go shopping today, I'll pick up some Mucinex, and then what? I got a cough forever. I'd rather have like a cough suppressant, because I'm so tired of coughing. But Bill, yeah, just looking at your comment there about you follow me because so many drivers are Trumpers. That's kind of why I switched my channel name to Trucker John, was to try to lure in the right-wingers. I thought, I'm being so smart. And because they would probably just think, I'm a trucker, so I must be, if not MAGA, I'm at least some sort of, right-winger. And then there were sometimes, I could see that I kind of tricked people, because they would follow me, or they would, maybe agree with me for a little bit about something, and then I would maybe go off on, what a moron Trump is or something, and all of a sudden that person would leave or unsub me or whatever. And they would be like, he's not the trucker I thought he was. He's not one of us. So I wanted to put the word trucker in my name to show that we're not all right-wing nut jobs. We're not all MAGA. There are some reasonable, liberal democratic truck drivers. I'm sure there's way more, but it seems like we're just quieter. We're not as out there as the right-wing nut jobs. That's why they're nut jobs, because they don't mind going on to the CB and calling Obama the N-word, and they're going to hang him and all that kind of stuff. They just don't mind. That's their MO. And probably most of the drivers that are more reasonable and either moderates or liberals or whatever, they probably don't even listen to the CB. They're just listening to streaming, whatever they can stream of, like Randy Rhodes or whatever. Speaking of Randy Rhodes, oh, she's not on yet. Which is what I did. I was always streaming through my phone, and I could put it, my aux cord, so I could listen to it through the stereos, the speaker system of the truck. And I would always just listen, instead of listening to the CB, I would listen to Stephanie Miller, and then Tom Hartman, and then Randy Rhodes, and then Nicole Sandler, or used to be Norman Goldman, if you guys remember him, but then he quit. And I believe he became some sort of a campaign, either advisor or manager for Elizabeth Warren when she ran. It was kind of cool. That's what I heard. I didn't really verify that, but and I would listen to those shows. That was pretty much my day. I was all day. And then, then at some point here, I discovered Hal. And I knew Hal from the Stephanie Miller show. Of course, I knew Hal from other things before that. But he was on his Stephanie Miller show for a long time. I mean, like a regular guest, way before he was doing all his live streaming and stuff. So that was pretty cool to see him pop up on YouTube. Bill Dickens says, all they do is blame Biden for fuel prices and lowball loads, as you've heard. Yeah. Yeah, I remember getting fuel at the fuel pumps, the big diesel fuel pumps, and seeing those, I did that stickers. And I peeled a few of them off, because they weren't really like the sticky stickers. They were sort of like more like those kind of magnetic stickers or whatever. And so they peeled off pretty easily. And I still have them. I think I kept them. I remember I put them on my little dashboard for a while inside my truck. And now that prices are going down, probably put those back out there. Yeah, but it's kind of, they do that all the time. Even like with Obama, anything that prices would go up, they would blame Obama. But before that, when Bush was president, he got no blame for anything. A lot of hypocrisy. A lot of double standards out there. And a lot of just, people listening to the right-wing propaganda. That is really a strong thing. And they really do get influenced by that. By the Fox News and all that kind of shit. So, pretty big deal, especially back then. Early in mid-2000s. Every truck stop you go to would have Fox News playing. I mean, it was very, very rare to see a place just play CNN or something, or it was 99% of the time it was Fox News. And I remember sometimes, because you have like these rewards cards and stuff, like with TA and Petro and Pilot and Flying J and all that. And whenever I had the opportunity to do any type of a survey or something, and if there was any type of a free form thing where you could put comments and stuff, I would always mention that. I'd be like, hey, could you guys stop playing Fox News? I find it offensive. It's not news. It's right-wing propaganda. Could you please play something that's more neutral, at least like CNN or something? And I got to say, I don't know if it was because of me, but there was a couple places that I had gone into that I saw that they weren't playing Fox News anymore, and they were playing CNN. So those type of things work. If you ever have a survey that you're able to take, um, and you can express your views, I suggest you do it because I think they read that shit, and sometimes they're like, hey, and I probably wasn't the only one. There might have. What if there was like, I don't know, 20 or 30 other people that said something similar, and they might go, you know what, these 20 or 30 people, they probably represent, maybe a few thousand people in this viewpoint. So you never know. It might make a difference. Let's see. So Bill says, wonder how they were during Clinton. I don't know. I wasn't driving then, but they probably didn't like him either. Hey, there's Kimchi. Hello, Kimchi. Thank you so much for dropping by. Kimchi says, hello, beautiful genius libs. Hi, gorgeous Jolie at Trucker John. Well, hello back at you there, Kimchi. Bill says hi to Kimchi. Kimchi says hi, Maria. Marie. Sorry, Maria. I keep saying Maria, and I'm sorry. It's Marie. I apologize. Marie says hi, Kimchi. Jolie says hello, beautiful Kimchi. Kimchi says, I know, right, Bill? And Trump refused to fill up the reserves when the price was negative. That's because he's so smart. Oh, he's such a great, smart businessman. Don't you know? The art of the deal. Yeah. The fart of the smell. I'm Pro-Turd. Kimchi says, what did I just say? Kimchi says, the J is for genius. Yeah, Donald Genius Trump. He's just got it all together, man. He's smart. He's smart that way. He's smart. Marie is laughing. Jolie says, my brother's doctor's office used to play Fox News. I complained at every appointment. They have it on HGTV now. See there? Good for you, Jolie. Good for you. Kimchi says, nice, Jolie. Let's all give Jolie a round of applause. See, it just shows that it's like the power of ask. I was actually a car salesman for a while, back in the very early 2001 or so, 2001. And the owner of it was AV Ford. It used to be Johnson Ford, then it was AV Ford, was Mike Johnson. And he was very successful, became a millionaire by selling these cars, these Fords, right? And his thing that he told me, and he told that to everybody, but he told it to me actually personally one time, about the power of ask. He says, do you know about the power of ask, John? And I was like, no. He goes, well, the power of ask means that if there's something you want, then ask for it. You might just get it. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. But if you don't ask, you're never going to get it, probably. So if you want something, just ask for it. Because you just might get it. So there's a example there of the power of ask. In other words, don't be shy. Just let people know what you want, and you just might get it. And if you don't get it, well, you don't get it. Kimchi says, you seem too nice to be a car salesman. I was a nice car salesman. I wasn't like a sleazy, smarmy one. Maybe that's why I didn't stay in the business. But they put me out on the used car lot, which is on the Lincoln Mercury side of the lot. And I remember, like, they had little sales charts, right, of all the salesmen. And on our side, on the used car side, we had a couple of guys, they'd been doing sales forever, and they were really, hot shots. And they could get up around 30 sales a month, 25 to 30 sales a month. And those are the top dogs. We had a couple of those dudes. And then you had a couple of kind of mid-level guys that would get like in the teens, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18 sales a month. And then there was this bottom rung, and we were all the newbies, and we were getting, 1, 2, 3 a month of sales. But I remember as I was going on, I was getting better, and I remember I was like getting up to 8, 9, 10 sales, and then I was in that middle rung where I was getting like 13, 14 sales a month, So I was sort of climbing up, I guess. And then I had a falling out. I did something accidentally stupid. Now, so here I am. Now, this is when I'm like 40 years old, 41 years old. It's not like I'm a kid, right? But I ended up getting fired. Okay, and I was getting to be halfway decent salesman, like that middle rung, right? And they would have these big salesman meetings where they had this kind of big conference room, and they would call everyone in from the Ford side and the Lincoln Mercury side. And like if it was your day off, you had to go into this meeting, and so everyone was there. I mean, there must have been, I don't know, God, there must have been 30 or 40 salesmen. I didn't even know we had that many salesmen, but when they had them all together in this room, everyone's there. There's probably maybe 2 or 3 women salespeople, and all the rest were guys. But we had this like general manager, I guess she was, a woman, and she was leading the thing. And I remember and you get all these guys together, and there was guys from their 20s to their at least 50s. I don't know, there might have been a couple guys in their 60s. And I was 40, so I was kind of like right in the middle, I guess. And I remember you get these guys, and it becomes like this. It's like everyone's like in high school again. They're like high school locker room. That's what it gets. And so we're in this room. Everyone's just getting all stupid and crazy, waiting for the meeting hasn't started yet, right? And I don't know. And then she comes in, and she's like getting everybody. She was like gets the meeting to order. Everyone calms down. But I don't know. I had been just sort of. I don't know how to explain it, but she was asking these questions like, and me and this other guy had been kind of joking around. You know how like you're like in class, and like in high school, and not necessarily like the class clown, but you're like, I don't know, you're like doing something, you're talking, and kind of joking, kind of like making fun of the teacher type of thing. And we were kind of doing that. And I think she I don't know if she exactly heard me, but she saw me talking. I got caught talking, I guess. So she asked this question like, okay, so what is the average number of sales that you should be making as a goal? And then she goes, what about you, John? And she pointed me out. And in my mind, here's what I meant to say. I meant to say something to the effect of, like, you can't put a number on it. You shouldn't limit yourself to a number. There should be no number. But what came out of my mouth was 0. And I did not mean to say 0, but I said 0. And everyone laughed. And it pissed her off, because that everyone laughed and thought I was being funny. But as soon as I said it, I was sort of cringing, because I was like, no, I didn't mean that. I meant to say, like, you shouldn't limit yourself to any number. Like if you say 15 or 20 or 30, it should be just like no limit. That's what I meant to say. But for some reason, I just said 0. And she got pissed off, and she kind of like ended the meeting right there. I mean, she just stormed out, and the meeting was over. And by the time I got out of the office, out of that conference room, which was on one side of the lot. And then our Lincoln Mercury used car lot, well, they had new Lincoln Mercuries too, but they had, in between was the used lot. And then on the other side of the used lot was the Lincoln Mercury office, which is where I was at and stationed at. By the time I got out of that conference room, walked downstairs, walked across the Ford lot, walked across the used car lot, into the Lincoln Mercury lot, into our office, my manager there told me to go home. He said, "Hey, I understand you had an issue. I want you just to go home for the weekend and think about it," or something like that. So I was like, "All right." I mean, I go, "Yeah, I didn't really mean to say that," or whatever. He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Don't worry about it. Just go home. Take some time to think about it, and then I'll see you Monday morning or whatever." I was like, "Okay." So I go home, have my weekend off, which I normally didn't because usually I worked weekends, I guess. I came back Monday. I had my little shirt and my tie. I had my little, I had this notebook, this little binder that I carried with me with a bunch of my stuff, salesman stuff. And then as I'm walking in, everyone's looking at me weird, like what are you doing here? Because these little bitches were the most gossipy fucking little bitches, I guess, apparently, that you've ever seen. So apparently over the weekend, everyone, I guess, had heard that I had been fired. Everyone except for me. I never got any notice that I was fired. I went, like I said, the guy said, "Come back Monday, and I'll see you then." So there I am. I got my shirt. I got my tie. I'm ready to go to work. And as I'm passing people are looking at me like they're watching a dead man or something, So I go into the main sales office where the manager is, and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going? What's up?" And he's like, and then he just looks at me like his jaw kind of dropped a little bit, and he's like, uh, he was like, "What are you doing here?" or whatever. I'm like, "I'm ready for work," and he's like, "Oh, well, you don't work here anymore. You're fired." I'm like, "What?" And then what are you talking about? You said to take the weekend off and come back. And then he's like, "Well, things have changed since then," or something like that. And then I just got so fucking mad because, here I am showing up like a fool. People see me, all the people that I saw, they all saw me, but like I didn't know because I had my shirt and tie on. So I just like rushed the counter. I just all of a sudden got in this rage, and I rushed the counter, and that guy got you could see the fear on his face, and I picked up his computer monitor, which in those days it wasn't a flat screen; it was like a big TV computer monitor. And I remember I picked it up, and I was gonna smash it on top of him, and he was all like, "Oh!" And then I just smashed it down on the counter. I didn't hit him or whatever. And I just go, "Fuck you, motherfucker." I go, "You could have called me. You could have told me. I didn't have to come in here looking like a fool, my shirt and tie on, and everyone's seeing me walking in." I go, "Fuck you, motherfucker. You're lucky I don't fucking throw you through this fucking window." And he was all like, "Oh, I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry, John." I'm like, "Fuck you, you fucking pussy. Get the fuck out of my face," or whatever. And so then I just left and I went home. And I was pissed, but that guy's an asshole. He's a fucking pussy. He couldn't even have the courtesy just to call me or give me a heads up or whatever, So that was that's how I went into trucking after that, because I needed a job, So that's my Ford story, my salesman story, and I was getting better. Like I said, I was up to getting 13, 14 sales a month. Sort of mid-level, salesperson. Anyhow, let's see here. What's going on in the chat here? I think I saw Wes Webb somewhere. Thanks, Wes, for being here. Kim Chi says, "May I please have $20 million?" Sure. I'll take it out of my petty change. Petty cash. Marie says they have pills for that. Jolie says, my ask was, why are you torturing us with this garbage? I don't know what that's about. Kimchi says, actually stupid is my resting state. Marie says, kimchi. Oh, there's West Web. Hey, gang, everybody's schedule is fucked up, but I got most of my shopping done. Well, that's good. Did you pick up some cupcakes? Kimchi says, sounds like she is the one who needed some discipline. What a short fuse for someone so high up. Westwood says, 29 in Rockford. I paid as little as $2.62 in Tennessee. Seems like a lot when gas was a quarter for most of our childhoods. Yeah, but that was a long, long time ago, Wes. And that was before OPEC. Wes Webb says, kimchi blocks me. I suppose I should feel proud, but I kind of miss her, laughing out loud. Wes Webb says, jerkwad. I think he was talking about my manager. Kimchi says, haha, glad you scared that stupid motherfucker. Oh yeah, he was shitting his pants. I was gonna beat his ass, but then I had visions of like jail, and I was like, no, I don't want to go to jail. West Webb says that guy in Las Vegas who didn't get the job at the university was already crazy. They knew it. Oh yeah. Yeah, they were saying that he was kind of a weirdo. Like students that had him in I think it was North Carolina or something. West says, I don't care that much for cake except pound cake and Twinkies. You should get cupcakes with big, thick chocolate frosting. That's the best. Seattle Judy. Hey, Seattle Judy. Thanks for being here. She says, hi, Drugger John. Always enjoyable coming here. Well, thank you so much for being here. I haven't seen you in a while. Kimchi says hi to Seattle Judy. We are just shooting the shit here at the old homestead, at the old University Gardens. Seattle Judy says hi, Kimchi. I was just talking about how I got fired at the AV Ford back in 2001. A lot of those guys were assholes. A lot of those sales guys were assholes, but a lot of them were good. I guess there's all types. What's supposed to sponge cake and bunt might be the same thing. We have a place called Anything Bunt Cakes. Tiny little bunt cakes, nice and moist. Kimchi says German chocolate cake forever. German chocolate, I'm kind of, I like just regular chocolate. Like chocolate. Really chocolate. The German chocolate, yeah, like I say, I don't know. It's kind of weird. What says, I've been lucky to only have a couple of bad bosses, but I was union rep. They usually knew better than messing with me. Julie says, John, the torturing us with garbage comment was about the Fox News, just in case. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't think you were saying about me, but I didn't know what you were talking about. I had no idea. Somehow I just didn't see it when you first posted it, and so I was kind of lost there. Kimchi said, I am of German heritage, and I suck at it. I hate beer and sausage. All the worst are the worst. I like a good bratwurst. A good brat. I like beer. So I guess I'm more German than you are. Even though I'm Irish and Norwegian. Basically. Mostly, I guess. But none of that shit really matters. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as far as I don't think, like, when you're an American and you're just raised in America, I don't really think it matters what your bloodline is, as far as like if you're gonna like bratwurst or not, or like I'm Irish Norwegian, so I guess I would like. Although I do like Guinness, I do like me some Guinness, which I think is Irish. Um, I don't really care for bangers and mash. I had that at this Irish restaurant, and I was like, ugh, what's the nothing that good. As far as like, what do Norwegians eat? Like sardines? I'm not a sardine dude. I fucking hate sardines. So Kimchi says, of course, no, I'm just fucking around. There you go, fucking around. That Kimchi, she will fuck around. Wes says, I'm almost half Dutch, German, and I love bratwurst and beer. A good brat, when it's grilled, when it's nice and grilled, and it's almost not burnt, but kind of almost like the edges are almost kind of almost burnt. That's when it's really good, right? Fresh off the grill. Put some mustard on there, throw it on a bun. I'm good. I'm good to go. And I'll drink just about any beer with it. Doesn't have to be German beer. I'll drink Budweiser if I have to. But I like I say, I like a nice Guinness. I got Heineken's in the fridge right now, but that's probably brewed in Pennsylvania or something. Uh, Wes Webb says white cheddar cheese and mustard, so good. Yeah, I would just go with a sharp cheddar. Kimchi says, I don't eat sausage because I was forced to help make it at 8. Will never forgive my parents. Well, yeah, I guess, some things are everlasting, right? And they will definitely make you have a reaction to something. There's Marie says sauerkraut. I don't like sauerkraut. I actually detest sauerkraut. West Webb says extra sharp white. I like yellow. Kimchi says kraut is delish. I hate sauerkraut. Here's some things that I hate. I hate sauerkraut. I hate yogurt. Well, no, I hate cottage cheese. There are some yogurts that are okay, but I hate cottage cheese. I hate sauerkraut. I'm not a big fan of coleslaw. There are some coleslaws that I've had that are good enough where I'll take 1 or 2 bites and I'm like, nah, that's pretty good, but I'm done. I don't need to eat the whole thing. But for the most part, I don't like coleslaw. Let's see. Other than that, I think I love everything. Westwood says, kraut on the side, not on the brat. Yellow is not as sharp. Well, that's fine, but I like yellow better. Westwood says, I love strong cheese. But does the strong cheese love you? Kraut on the side. I do not like sauerkraut. I'm sorry, guys. I hate it. It's gross. It's disgusting. That's one thing that they could just stop making, and I would never miss it. Marie Jean Greco says, I hate peas. I was going to bring up peas because I was never a fan of peas, but it seems like growing up, my mom was an excellent cook, but she would also cook. It seems like in the 60s, it was a big craze maybe to eat TV dinners. And like I said, my mom was an excellent cook. She would cook stuff from scratch. She could make biscuits from scratch or shit like that, and pies or whatever. But she also would buy these TV dinners because I guess that was like the new thing. I mean, TV dinners have been around for a while, but there seemed to be in the late 60s, early 70s, this kind of craze where TV dinners were like an in thing. Like I guess they had improved or something. And we would eat TV dinners sometimes, like 2 or 3 times a week sometimes, I think. It was like Salisbury steak, or all that kind of shit. But there was always that either mixed vegetables and it had peas in it, or just peas. And they were gross. The peas in the TV dinners were fucking gross. And the reason I didn't put peas on my little list just now is because I have had peas that were like fresh from a garden that someone had grown from their garden, and they were actually delicious. I think I've had like farm fresh peas a couple of times, and they're really good. If you get something that's fresh out of a garden, freshly picked, even carrots, and I've never been a really big carrot fan, but I had a friend of mine or a guy that I worked with at the post office, and he was growing, well, he was growing some pot plants, but he was also growing carrots in his backyard. Now, the pot plants didn't come out too good. It was the bunkest, crappiest weed I've ever smoked. But the carrots were delicious. I mean, fresh out of the ground, it was like candy almost. It was like sweet carrot candy. I can't even tell you. And I was just eating carrots like crazy. And I think I ate, because I was living with that guy for a while. I was renting a room from him for a while after I got divorced in the early 90s. And I ate more carrots during that time than I've eaten in my whole life combined, because they were delicious. Fresh out of the ground, you would wash them up, just eat them. I mean, I've never had carrots so good. So I guess when you get something that's just freshly grown and picked out of the ground, it's really good. And I've had peas that people had grown that were really good. But if you're eating like frozen peas and stuff like that, they are just gross, mushy, little gross things, and they're disgusting. So I'm with you there on that, Marie. But I didn't put on the list of things I absolutely hate because I have had some that I liked. Bill Deacon says that kimchi, either Italian or Mexican. I love Italian food and I love Mexican food. Those are probably my two favorites. Probably Mexican 1, Italian 2, maybe. Kimchi says, yes, Bill, we love Mexican too. Kimchi says Chinese is pretty amazing too. I do like Chinese food, but I seems to eat it just kind of not sparingly, but just occasionally. But I like Chinese food. Bill Dingus says, grew up on TV dinners too, and yes, the veggies sucked. Yeah, because I mean, like the Salisbury steak or whatever was the meat, like it was usually like just a hamburger patty or Salisbury steak. I remember that a lot. We're okay. What else would we get? And then there would usually be like some mashed potatoes with gravy on it. If it was just all corn, I could eat the corn. You just douse it with salt and pepper and it would be all right. The mixed vegetables I hated and the peas I hated. And I don't know why my mom did that because she was a really good cook. I guess maybe to give herself a break from the cooking. And, it was like a quick, easy thing. Marie says, yes, Bill Deacon, Italian or Mexican. Yeah, they're the two best. Italian and Mexican are probably the two best. Gotta be. Kimchi says, TV dinners were a treat for us. Got to eat stuff mom never made, so it was a gastronomic experience, laughing out loud. Kimchi, Salisbury steak. Yeah, steak in quotations. That's a good one. Bill Deacon says, the burnt brownie. Yeah, because I guess we get like Swanson, right? And then they had those Hungry Man. Remember getting those. Kimchi says the apple crumble stuff was edible. Yeah, they would have like a little dessert. And we actually had TV trays. And I remember, because we would usually eat at like a dining room table. But I remember we actually sometimes would eat in the living room on our TV trays. It's kind of funny. Watching the news or whatever. Watching Walter Cronkite. Somebody B2, hello, Stephanie. Says, hey, they're finally done with the doctor. Trying to get new hips is taking forever. Now they have to build my bones up. 33% bone loss. Oh, wow. So what do they do? Give you like calcium pills or something? West Webb says, oh my, I only remember TV dinners when there was some sort of emergency regarding my mom. Yeah, I know, it was weird. Like I said, my mom was such a great cook, but she would do the TV dinners sometimes. Like I say, I think it was just to give herself a break from cooking. You know. West West says sorry. Stephanie B2. Yeah, so I hope that goes better for you. Kimchi says, "Dear hugs, hugs, dear." At 70. Hope you get your surgery soon. I was thinking, I was wondering if I might need hip replacement at some point because sometimes when I'm walking, I get like these sharp pains in my hips. You know, when you get old, it's like just shit just starts falling apart, man. 70 says prescription bone builders might be infused therapy. Wow. Bone builders. Kimchi says, my hips are okay, but my knees, laughing out loud, sounding like my mom. Well, just now, earlier, I went to breakfast at that Blueberry Hill restaurant down the street, and after I was done, and when I got up, I was like, my knees were killing me, like just to stand up, and I was like, oh my God, what is going on here? And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm old. West Web says, me too, but I have a friend 2 years older than me on his second hips. Wow. Kimchi says, well, mine only hurt usually on stairs, meaning I need to take more stairs. Wes says he abuses them, water skis, and rides a motorcycle. I know. I didn't think about that, about like doing stuff, like if that would fuck up your hips. Because I used to ski. I mean, I would ski. Well, I went through a period where I was skiing a lot, like in my 20s, mid 20s, and stuff. Where I would every ski season, me and this buddy of mine, we were like, as soon as it snowed, we're like, grab the skis, let's go up the mountain, you know. And we would just get the fresh powder and all that kind of stuff. And we did that for a few years. And then, but now I haven't skied in almost 20 years. I remember we took the kids a few times when the kids were young. So that was probably not quite 20 years ago, maybe 15, 16, 17 years ago. That's the last time I skied. And I did okay because I hadn't skied for a while. Prior to that, I'm trying to think, maybe 10 years I'd gone where I hadn't skied. So anyhow, but it did kind of come back to you. It's kind of like riding a bike. And now I've been thinking, because we're just up here in the mountains, to the west of us here is Mount Charleston. And they have a ski resort. And I've never been up there, but I'd like to go up there. And I was thinking about maybe trying to go skiing, but I don't know. I'm afraid I would break a hip or something. And I was really just thinking, I'll just go on the bunniest of the bunnies hill. But I don't know. I'm kind of scared. I don't want to break a hip, you know. West says smokes an unknown amount of THC. 70B2 says, I'm barely walking at this point. The spurs on my bones are horrible. Wow. Well, yeah, I hope they can get that situated for you. Jolie says, John, what are you doing eating breakfast without us? Well, you know, I went over. I thought I would go and get some breakfast. I was planning on going on live like right after Stephanie, but then, and I kind of thought just how I was going to do that when Stephanie said, and you know, House Sparks Mega Worldwide coming up next or whatever, and I kind of thought Hal was going to come on, and sure enough, he did go on. So then I was just eating breakfast and watching Hal. So, and then I pretty much got out of there when his show was he was still on. I guess he finished up by the time I got back home here. So yeah, so Hal was on, but blame it on Hal. Kimchi says, oh no, sweetie, I can't even imagine that pain, Steph. Yeah, that bone spurs. I think I have bone spurs somewhere. I don't know. I know my elbows. I used to have bone chips in my elbows from football. I got my elbows always getting hit. And I used to be able to feel the chips floating around in my elbows, both sides. And then sometimes I would look down and I would see this kind of like golf ball size just on the end of my elbows. It would happen, I don't know, just from hitting in football. And that was kind of weird. I mean, and I didn't really feel it. There was no pain, but I would look down and I go, ooh, it kind of like startled me. I'm like, oh, and then, but after a while, I got used to it. Uh, and then it would just go. It would just go away, after practice or after the game or whatever. It was weird though. Um, West Webb says used to snow ski, but with metal hips, it hurts too much when they get cold and doesn't warm up very quickly. So you got hip replacement too, huh, Wes? Kimchi says, be right back, drugs and more drugs, Kona. 72 says, I started water skiing at 6 and used to be on a team. Snow skiing, my second time, came back with a cast on my leg. Oh, wow. Yeah, you can break your legs out there. Jolie says, that sounds awful. It's 72. I'm so tired of the hoops. Making you jump through hoops. Yeah, that sucks. West Webb says, another friend just fell off a ladder, hurt both knee and ankle. Turns out they are both broken. She has low bone density also. Yeah, that's why I would like to go skiing, but I don't want to break a hip or anything like that, And I was thinking, even if I could just go on like the little bunny slopes, I don't even know if I could trust myself on that. But I should try it. I got to do something. 72 says, at least I'm skinny, not a lot of weight bearing down on me. Well, yeah, that does help. I wish I was skinny so that I wasn't bearing down on my joints and stuff so much. West Webb says, broke a spur on the back of my heel. Was in a cast from November to April. Oh. West Webb says, no, my friend is on his second set of hips. Yeah, but I thought you said you don't, or were you talking about your friend used to snow ski? Because you just said used to snow ski. I thought you were talking about yourself. But with metal hips, it hurts too much when they get cold. That sounds like you're talking about yourself. So, Mr. English teacher. West Webb says, no, my friend is, West Webb says, going for surgery, needs somebody to watch her cats, but I am allergic. So I guess you can't, you're off the list of the cat watching list. And I can't do it because I'm too far away. So I'm off the list. West says, no, my friend with the hips. So, okay, well, I get that now. I thought the hips were, well, I guess titanium is a metal, right? What do they make them out of? Like titanium or something? I don't know. What do I know? I don't know nothing. I know nothing. Nothing. I know nothing. Nothing I know. I don't know. Ow, ooh, I just got a pain in my neck. See, I can't even. How can I think I'm going to go skiing when all I did was sort of like turn my neck and all of a sudden I got this pain in my neck? So I'm really being unrealistic, I think, to think that I could actually go skiing. Titanium, exactly. Oh, yeah, so I was right. Titanium. Oh, I guess I'm back. For some reason, I saw a frozen screen. I don't know what that's about. But hopefully I'm back. We're all back. Is everybody back? Everybody okay? Everybody all right? During that freeze frame? Hopefully we're all good. Wes says, I'm not stupid like I used to be. You used to be stupid, but now you're smart. Well, that's good. That's a good progression. Bill Dickens says back. All right. Wes says, Nexpers stopped me from lifting weights. Really hurt myself once. Almost tried to have surgery. I almost had to have surgery. Not almost tried to have surgery. That doesn't make sense. We'll put that one on me, Wes. I didn't read correctly. Kimchi says back, medicated, caffeinated, and stoninated. You stoner. Kimchi is a stoner. And she's proud of it. I can tell. Marie Jean Greco has an emoji that I guess that's the cat because we were talking about cats. Are you gonna watch the cats, Marie? Be the designated cat watcher. Marie Jean Greco. Just kind of rolls off the tongue. So anywho, thanks everybody for being here. We got 11 watching, 12 thumbs ups. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for me. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, all that good stuff. You know, let's get those watch hours up for Trucker John. Trucker John needs those watch hours, just like Liberal Dan does. Well, so do I. We're getting there. I don't know. I haven't checked it in a while, but I'm almost at my well, not almost. I think I'm still a few hundred short. Bill Dickens says, Trucker John, is weed against Uber policy? I have no idea. I mean, I don't do it. I don't even do it, although, you know, I did do that one show a few weeks ago, but other than that, I don't do it, so I don't really worry about it. I don't even know what their policy is. I probably read it somewhere and I just forgot. Kimchi says, I am old and deserve to do nothing but read and run my mouth all day. Done taking care of others or working for the man. For the man, for the man. Well, that's good, Kimchi. It's a good place to be. You know, I think you're just don't have to give a shit, you know. I think that's kind of awesome. Marie Jean Greco is saying she's smoking? Because she's smoking? I don't know. 72 says, same here, Kimchi. West Webb says, finally working on a little buzz and happy and proud to have the shopping done. I need to go shopping. After this live stream, I need to go shopping. I'll probably just go up to around noon, and then we can all go and watch Randy Rhoads, I guess. When you guys go in there, say hi for me to Randy, because I know that she knows me, because I've been watching her since she was or listening since Air America since 2004. I've probably watched or listened to almost every single Randy Rhoads episode that she's had since 2004. So there's that. West Webb says, laughing out, Kimchi associates me with the man. Really? Kimchi says, Steph, how did your weed grow? Is it good? Hey, here's AJ X1. Do you drive snow? Do you drive in snow or black ice? I used to. I haven't driven since last January, I guess. Haven't driven the big truck since last January. So since then, I have not. But I have. And I can tell you, it's kind of scary. And it's not fun. And that's why I wouldn't chain. I tried chaining in my early days. It was a disaster. And from then on that point on, I said, I'm never going to chain again. And so whenever it's just too icy and too snowy and too slippery, I'll just park it. And the freight can wait until the roads are clear and safe. Because no freight is worth my life. I mean, right? Generally speaking. But thanks for being here, AJ. Glad to see you. Make sure you hit the thumbs up for me and subscribe and share and all that good stuff. And thanks for being here. Bill Deegan says, Kimchi, you're not old, just all the more wise. Smoke up. 72 says, it turned out great at Kimchi. Kimchi says, oh, thanks, Bill, I shall. Kimchi says, no, I associate Wes with childish pranks and toddler egoism. Liberal Dan says, Trucker John. Hey, Liberal Dan, thanks for being here. Liberal Dan says, hey, Kimchi, Wes. Kimchi says safety third. When I don't really understand that, I know Hal says this all the time. I don't get it, and I don't really agree with it. Liberal Dan says, "Hey Steph." Marie G. Greco says, "Hey Liberal Dan." Hi and smile, I guess. Kimchi says, "Hey Dan." Bill Dinkins says, "Wow, Liberal Dan, were your ears burning?" Yeah, I was just talking about, and he probably was lurking, and so I brought up his name, and he just, it's kind of like Beetlejuice. Bill Dickens says, "Wow, Liberty says, "Hey, Marie, Bill." West Webb says, "I have accidentally had to drive on black ice. Learn how to make big educated guesses. Just give the vehicle some momentum and go very slowly." AJX1. Yeah, you can do that in a little four-wheeler. Believe me, in an 18-wheeler, it is not fun. And you really just want to get off the road. Once you start seeing it or feeling it. Sometimes you can't see it. But you feel it. You feel the truck slipping out from under you. It's like, nope, I'm done. I'm parking. West Webb laughing out loud. West Webb tell her that I love her too. Julie says, "Hey, Dan." West Webb says, "Hey, Dan, this is not the Dan with the platinum hips." Okay. They're titanium. 32 says, "To get the good drugs for my osteoporosis, I have to wait until April to see a rheumatologist here. It feels like I'm never going to get them." Well, it sucks, but you will. You'll get them. Hang in there. Hang in there. You'll get them. Liberdan says, I guess that's like heart, that Jolie, heart. Kimchi says, "That is ludicrous, Steph, 5 months." Liberdan says, "Bill laughing out loud, no, why?" Oh, well, he was talking about, because just previous, I had talked, I brought you up. And then lo and behold, there you are. That's what I was saying. It's like Beetlejuice or something. I said Liberal Dan. I think I must have said it 3 times. And poof, there you are. AJ X1 says, "My DM doesn't force me to drive, but the company I'm with kind of makes it seem like you should, if that makes sense." Well, yeah, they're going to, here's what it is. If you're a company driver, they want you to drive. They don't want you to shut down. But they're also going to say, you're the captain of your ship. And, I mean, they're going to have like an out, or whatever. But they're going to kind of maybe subtly kind of guilt you. Like, you're not a real truck driver if you stop or whatever. They won't say that. But, I mean, yeah, there's this insinuations, and there's a tone. So they'll say out of one side of their mouth, "You're the captain of your own ship. Make your own decision. If it's not safe to go, then find a safe place to park, or whatever. Or if you can't reroute, through a safer way." But yeah, there is that sort of between the lines that some of these dispatchers can be real kind of assholes, and they make you feel like, you don't need to stop or whatever. But so it is up to you. You are the captain of your own ship, and if you don't feel you can get through safely without hurting yourself or hurting others or wrecking the truck or whatever, then it's better to stop and play it safe. That's the way I would do it. Because it can get pretty hairy out there, and you'll see a lot of trucks where, whether it was windy, you see trucks get blown over, and they went through the wind and they shouldn't have, or they slid off the road because it was icy. You'll see the trucks on the side of the road tipped over, and you don't want to be one of those. Believe me, because I did tip one over, but it wasn't because of wind or ice. It was a different issue. But you don't want that to happen. So if you're in those type of conditions where you could lose control of the truck, then it's best to go ahead and find a safe place to park and try to either wait out that storm, or wait till the roads get cleared or whatever. It really is the best thing to do, in my opinion. Wes says, so many FedEx trucks seem to go off the road when there is ice. They must force them to drive. My experience, well, I don't know about FedEx. I was thinking more of the Amazon drivers. A lot of those are just weirdos. But FedEx, yeah, I don't know. They do, yeah. FedEx is kind of pushy. They're kind of pushy, and they push those drivers too probably. Bill Diggins says, Liberdan, as Trucker John said, he was just talking about you. Liberdan says, all cool, and it was all good, little Dan. It was all good. I was just mentioning how I was trying to get my watch hours up, and then I kind of mentioned to you as I like Lower Dan needs his, about trying to get watch hours, and I need my watch hours, and that was just the context, I think. So laughing out loud, no, you weren't. I don't know what I weren't. What I weren't what. 72 says, yep. Apparently, it's a roaming doctor. I think I can find one that'll see me sooner. Yeah, hopefully. Kimchi says, my dad drove 2 days through a snowstorm to deliver hogs and then had to drive them back again because reasons. Love you, Dad. Yeah, I mean, there are drivers that will, push through that. I've driven through snow and stuff because you can drive through snow. Snow is different than ice. You know what I mean? Like, I've driven on snow-covered roads, and as long as I feel like I'm getting good traction and I'm not sliding or I don't feel any sliding, then I would go through it. But the moment I started feeling the wheels sliding out under me or the trailer kind of swerving or whatever, then I'm like, okay, I gotta find a place to park. I had my limit, but there are drivers that, yeah, they just would drive through anything, and I guess if you want to, really push it, that's up to you. I guess it is up to the drivers, but if you lose the load, the load's not going to get there. You know what I mean? Like if you're parked and you're waiting for the roads to get plowed, or you're just waiting for the storm to pass, or waiting for it, at least the load will get there. It might be 10 hours late or a day late, but it's better than wrecking and then the load never getting there. That's the way I would look at it. Wes Webb says, sorry for pooping out on you last night, Danny boy. I am learning that if I sleep in my chair without my feet up, my ankles swell. Alrighty. Liberdan says, be back in a second. Alrighty. Bill Diggins says, F that at Trucker John. It's easy to make that call from a 70-degree office chair. Yeah, that's true. And the thing is, though, a lot of those dispatchers, believe it or not, were former drivers, and they should know better. And those might be the better ones, and then you get the ones that have never driven, and those might be the worst ones. So I don't know. Kimchi says, of course, this was 1958, so a bit different. Yeah, things were a lot different then. I guess there was a whole different mentality. It was kind of a macho thing. And you still see that today, too, I guess, but where you don't stop for anything, Wes says, blown over. I saw that happen. I don't think I ever actually saw it actually happen, but I've seen the results of it. And I've been pushed around. I've been in where I was in the slow lane, the truck lane, right? And I've been where a gust of wind, because you're in these areas where it's like sustained winds of 40 or 45 miles an hour, but there's gusts of 60 or 70 or 80 miles an hour, and all of a sudden a gust will hit you on the side. And I've been where I'm in my lane in the slow lane, and that wind just took me. I'm holding on the wheel. It just moved the entire 18-wheeler into the other lane, like boom. And the only thing if there had been a car there, it happened to me several times over my career. I was just lucky there was never a car next to me when that happened. And then I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm stopping, and I'm going to the next, either a rest stop, rest area, truck stop, anything I could find where I could park and maybe get in between some other trucks, to get some break from the wind, or behind a building or whatever, But it's that's some wind could be scary as shit, man. It's just as scary as ice and black ice. Um, Wes says stopped in the mountains of Idaho on a super hot but dry day. Trucks in the next valley on their sides in the middle of the road. Yeah, I've seen lots of trucks on the side tipped over. They got blown over. Kimchi says, "Okay, gonna go slop the crows and get ready for Randy's. Love y'all. Like mashed taters and gravy." All right, Kimchi, thanks for being here. Probably see you over there in the chat. She's gonna be starting up in about 5 minutes. Actually, probably 12:06 is when she'll start. But yeah, thanks for being here, and we'll see you over there. Say hi to Randy for me. Wes Webb says wheels. AJX1 times one says, "Have you ever jackknifed in slick spots? If so, how would you repair it?" Um, I never jackknife because once you jackknife, you're fucked. There's no repairing that. I mean, you're gonna jackknife unless you can steer out of it and get lucky. Um, you're gonna end up you're gonna end up on the side of the ditch, and I don't know, I was just hearing some other thing, but I had that on mute. Anyhow, um, you're gonna just end up in a ditch or on the side of the road, and probably not gonna be able to get out of it. Maybe I guess it depends on how stuck you are, or if you could, you know, I don't know why I'm hearing something playing. Maybe that's next door. I don't know. Anyhow, um, but like to do a complete like jackknife, I've seen my trailer kind of like fishtail, but I never jackknifed. You let's see, where was I? Where was I? And to repair it, I mean, you're gonna have to call a record probably to pull you out. 72 says, "Yeah, I'm gonna go get stoned. Maybe see y'all later." All right, Stephanie, thank you so much for being here. I'm glad to see you in the chat, and I hope that you get your procedures sooner than 5 months. And I hope you get all that taken care of. Jolie's got the buy me a coffee link. Thank you, Jolie, for putting that in there. And Jolie says, "Take care, Stephanie." So yeah, just in a couple minutes here, I'm going to go ahead and we'll call an end to this thing here. And that's for right now. I'll just say thank you all for being here. We'll do this again on Thursday for sure. I'll try to do the mornings, that 9 a.m. Pacific time type of deal. 9 to 10. Like today, we started it was almost 10, I think. Bill Deacon says, "What's the highest level inspection you've had from DOT?" I've had the highest. It's basically uh, if you're out on the road, they'll do a level 1 inspection, where they just kind of do a walk around. They check your lights and your blinkers and your windshield wipers and your reflectors and stuff like that. And then if you get called in at a way station, and they'll do the full Monty, where they get underneath. They're checking your brake linings. They're checking for air leaks and the airlines. Of course, that's why I that last inspection I got, I didn't pass. So they found leaks in the rear main seal, and so it failed the inspection. Um, I am hearing something. I don't know what that's from because something's bleeding through. It's weird. Anyhow, so I guess that's a level two. I don't know. I forgot the levels, but I mean, the most they can do is they take you into the garage area and they do, you know, like I say, they go through everything with a fine tooth comb or whatever. Um, and but that last one, I didn't pass. So what says why? Bye, Stephanie. Already ahead of you. All right, so here we are. It's 12 noon, and hey, I'm right at 2 hours. So we did 2 hours, and we got through it. I want to thank you guys so much for being here. Like I said, I'll see you guys on Thursday. Try to do the morning show, I guess, somewhere between 9 and 10 in the morning. AJ says, just yesterday I was in a crazy snowstorm, completely lost sight of the road ahead of me. Ice formed on the windshield, even with the defrost on. Yeah, it can get pretty hairy out there, so stay safe, AJ. If it gets too hairy, don't be don't worry about what the company's going to think if you find a rest area or a truck stop to let things calm down, to let the storm pass and let the roads get clear. That's better than wrecking and then the load never getting there, or taking, or has to get cleaned up and repacked to another truck or whatever, right? So just know that if whatever delay you have at riding that storm out, or if you have to reroute or something, it's better than losing the load. So yeah, be careful out there, though, AJ. It can get hairy, it can get scary, but don't be ashamed to find a safe place to park, a safe and legal place to park, and ride it out. Alrighty, so that's it for today. Again, thanks so much. Wes Webb was here. How's this? We are not going to say this again. 72. Blah blah blah. Out of driving, truck drivers are dead. The papers, locals. Okay, whatever. I don't know what that. Thanks, Wes, for being here. Thank you, Jolie, for being a great moderator. Thanks, Marie, Stephanie, Kimchi, Wes, Liberal Dan was here, AJ, Bill Deacon, all you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in the chats, around the chats and the YouTubers. And I'll see you Thursday right here at the Trucker Jan. I'm now Trucker Jan. I'm changing. I've just decided I'm going to be Trucker Jan. No, I'm just kidding. Trucker Jan is another channel. I'm sure there's probably a Trucker Jan, and she's probably wonderful. But or they are wonderful. I guess I have to say they. But thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate you guys, and it's fun hanging out with you. And I will hang out with you again on Thursday. Alrighty, bye bye.